Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Massive Beer Reviews Revisited. I don't know if I should call this a classics, because I don't think this beer qualifies for a classic, because I think I reviewed this 7 years ago. Does that qualify for a classic? It's kind of like, you know, how cars, they go from like classic to antiques, and I don't know how that works, but I think it was the first beer I reviewed from this brewery, and I think it was within the first year of their inception. Battery Steele. Flume. Double IPA. So I don't know. Somewhere in between tweener classics, let's put it that way. It's not going to be called Massive Beer Review Classics, but we'll see. We'll see what I am deciding towards the end. Battery Steele. Never been to the brewery, but I'm up Portland, decent amount, and I got this. I forget who originally gave me some of these, but they're up, you know, Portland, Maine way. Are they actually in Portland proper? Are they outside of it? Is it 8%? Yeah, it's Industrial Way, Portland, Maine. This is should be right next to Allagash. 8% alcohol by volume, double IPA. I assume it's a hazy. It was the first time I reviewed it. So yeah, picked it up locally off a shelf. I took a flyer because I didn't see a date on the can, but the place that I got it from, you know, there's stuff actually does sit at this place, so you got to be wary about dates. But I went there twice because we're around the holiday season, so I was buying beers to, you know, for a party, and then I went back and I got some stuff to ship out to some people. And both times I know for a fact this beer wasn't there. So not saying a distributor couldn't sit on some old cans and throw them in there, but I was like, I'll take a flyer on it and see what's what. Otherwise, it's cool. Pretty much what I remember, you know. Their logo, some green, a little bit of filigree like background with a little bit of fireflies going around, and that looks the part of a hazy IPA. It's not super butternut squash turbid, but you know, it has that rich, slightly washed out, milky kind of orangeness to it. Just off-white kind of pinky finger head of a little soapy edged or soapy top, little soapy edged head to it. Looks a little, from memory, and I did look at the video. I didn't listen to anything. I just was like curious, click on it just so I could look at the beer. Looks a little bit more dense than what I remember it being, at least based off of memory and peeking at that video for a hot second. It's good news. There's something cool in here, and I think I lack the skills to bring it out, at least aromatically. I think there might be a little oniony thing in here. If that's the case, then I'm going to get really, really, really excited. It's a fruit medley kind of thing. Obviously, you know, hazies, you know, orange is pretty much a given. You know, but it's almost like, it's like equal parts, you know, the three-headed monster we always talk about, your stone fruit, tropical fruit, citrus. It's kind of like those medleyed together. So it's definitely like a fruit blend kind of thing going on here. It's Dole kind of vibes. Fruit blend, tropical fruit blend. Let's go that way. And, but there might even be like a little berry vibe floating around in there. Not a huge nose. I mean, 8%, you expect something a little bit more volumetric here, but at the same time, it's not like a negative nose by any stretch. It just lacks a little punch to it, but it smells nice. It doesn't smell like, you know, like it's past its prime or there's some kind of off flavor or anything like that. It just comes off where that hill I die on. It smells like a double IPA playing at a single IPA level. I want my singles to play as doubles, my doubles to play as triples. You know how I do. But it smells quite nice. Fruit medley, a little bit of precursor of a little bit of fun little greenery, a little bittering in there. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. Well, that drinks like a double IPA. Yeah, that's actually really tasty. It follows suit, but everything here is cranked up a bit. The fruit portion of the show is definitely that fruit kind of medley thing I was talking about. Everything here is a little bit sharper, a little bit bigger. You know, those kind of tropical fruits, your mango kiwi kind of combination is just a little bit more. Same thing, your stone fruit a little bit more. I'd probably say the citrus is probably a third player here. But again, it's not missing. It's probably more pineapple than citrus. I'm kind of flirting that line between citrus and tropical fruit. But it's really, the bittering kind of catches up here. And I think there's a little bit of trickery in here going on. Because you do get this little bit of greeny ranky-dink, but I think it's decently propped up with a carbonic acid. Now, this is where typically most people are like, Jesus Christ, why are you talking about carbonic acid again? because I can't help myself. It's there. This is a really smart use of it because it's a double IPA. It's a relatively sweet beer. It's a bigger beer. And there is a natural bittering to it. It's just taking that carbonic and just using it to prop that bitterness up just a skosh more to add a balance to everything. So I don't mind it here by any stretch of imagination. I actually think I prefer it at the level it is. If it was a little bit smaller, I think it would just skew a little bit more sweet for me. So I think it's an actually intelligent level, intelligent play on that, at least for my palate and how I'm susceptible to that. Some people just aren't even bothered or didn't notice or whatever, that seltzer water thing. I am one of them. I think this is really good, man. Like, really good. I remember digging this beer, but I don't remember digging it this much. I'm going to have to go back and watch the original video. But I think it's a little bit different beer. That being said, last time I got a battery Steele beer, it wasn't too long ago. I actually picked up I think it was Little Flume or Baby Flume. Highly, highly disappointed in that beer. I thought it was just not well done. Kind of had me a little bit of a pause when I went to pick this up off a shelf. I was like, do I really want to grab it again? You know? And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because I think this is probably one of my more favorited. Words are hard. Double IPAs I've had as of late. It's about Rushmore says, weirdly enough, I want to kind of keep it off, like just in the outside looking in. I don't know why. In the grand scheme of things, there's double IPAs that have done me better. I don't drink a ton of them nowadays, so it almost defaults to it because I do dig on it. There's something about it, the way the bittering plays in this, on that fruit meddling, it really does kind of make for a really cool combination. If I'm going to knock it for anything, maybe mouthfeel. You know, it's not thin, but, you know, for double IPA, turbid, hazy, you probably want and expect a little bit more from a beer. So if I'm really going to get on my high horse and kind of nitpick things, that would be it. But outside of that, no, I think this is really well done. And honestly, you know, picking this up, like I said, coming off kind of a bunk can of the little one, I was not hesitant to, my expectations weren't skyrocketing. You know, I was kind of like, okay, I want to see, let's give it another chance. And honestly, very good stuff, very tasty stuff, and I'm glad I've revisited. I'm glad I had 4 cans, let's put it that way. Well, 3.5 cans now. Anyway, yeah, I mean, outside of that kind of fruit medley thing, it is what it is. It's not pulling anything too crazy in either direction from the fruit side of things. The bittering portion of the show is really fun, even though I think it's propped up by a relatively decent dose of carbonic acid. It plays well in this beer, so I don't mind it. And really, like I said, the mouthfeel is not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, for something in 8% double IPA, you probably want something a little bit more to it. But in the grand scheme of things, you're talking about, you know, an $18, I think that's what I paid for it, 4-pack of this kind of double IPAs, no issues with that price point. And I'd probably buy it again if I knew this is what I was going to get. Battery Steele. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? Have you had it a long time ago? Have you had it recently? Has it changed for you in any fashion? Have you had the itty bitty, was it baby one or the little one or whatever, Little Flume, Baby Flume? What were your thoughts on that compared to this? I know markedly different beers, but it is a conversation that could be quite fun. Let's have it down there. So there we go. Review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and gals and everybody in between. Hopefully you're enjoying some double IPA right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.